We are the Gratitude Girls. I'm Laurie Delk.
Hello, I am Rara. I'm Catherine Asaro Myers, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight for our Gratitude Girls training. How are you, Laurie?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Someone taught me something. They taught me to say, like, how are you? We've been talking tonight, so we know how we are. But imagine when we're talking to someone who we haven't spoken to, and we say, how are you versus how are you today? Because you might not answer me honestly about how am I, but if I said, how are you today? You might say, oh, you know what? Today I'm really good. And I know that tonight we're going to talk about consistency. And I was taught this, and I make sure I do it every time when I'm speaking to someone. And then I look to see if they answer me about how they are today, because I really want to know, right? I really want to know what's going on. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity tonight to have us both share maybe some of our best kept secrets. I don't know how this is going to go, but tonight's theme is consistency. Do you have anything that you're really consistent about that you want to share with us tonight in business?
Yeah, in business, I have lots of things I'm consistent about, but probably the biggest thing that I'm consistent about is putting things on my calendar for my schedule. I am like so diligent of when everything that goes on my calendar. I mean, we talked about just a few minutes ago about a date that you and I are speaking at, and so we put that on the calendar. And so immediately, anytime I put things on the calendar. So it's appointments, but it's also when I go to the gym, it's when I go to church, it's when I go out to eat with my kids. Everything goes on my calendar. So that way I stay on topic and I stay on plan and stay doing what I'm supposed to do.
You're so right. I do the same thing. I'll talk about something else so that I can broaden the focus, although that's a main big deal for me. I am really consistent about how I follow up with someone. So I also use my calendar for that. What I mean is if I meet you and I want to talk with you, I won't call you 3 hours later or, even 24 hours later. I have a system as to how I follow up, and then I make sure I'm consistent about that. So I won't just say, hey, Laurie, it was really great to see you, give me a call, let's get together. I won't be that vague. I'll be specific. I'll remember how beautiful you look. I'll remember the color shirt you wore. I'll remember something that you said to me. I always want to remember something physical and then something emotional, and I'll jot those things down. And I'll say, Laurie, I won't just say your shirt, your blouse was beautiful, just like that, but I'll bring it into the conversation. So I'm consistent in how I follow up with people by complimenting them. It has to be genuine. Otherwise, I guess I'm not following up with them. And then bringing it back to the event where I met them and something that they said. So I'll reference that. And in referencing it, it will bring them to the awareness that I was paying attention. And then I will see where that conversation goes. And I'm obviously, if I'm calling you, it's because I want something to happen. I want to introduce you to someone. I have somebody that could help you with your business, or I heard you say you wanted to meet new people and I know of this event or group. And then I will follow up with that. And what I mean by that is I will put it in my calendar and say, may I get back to you again next Wednesday, Laurie, or next Tuesday, or in 2 weeks so that we can talk about that. And then I will follow up with an email saying it was really great chatting with you. And of course, no doubt, I will follow up with a card because it's what I do. And I will also follow up with a text. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to do all this in the same moment, but I'm consistent. So I make sure I put my strategy into place, and you will feel that I paid attention to you. You will feel that I truly want to get back with you and that I truly want to increase the visibility of our relationship with my network. So that follow-up is key. Do you ever have somebody call you and then never call you back? And you're like, really? That's how you're going to follow up with me? Okay. Once a year they call you whether you like it or not, or someone who says, they're trying to sell me something, so they just make sure I'm on their call list every 6 months. You don't really feel good about that. So if you are going to create a network of people, let them know that you're going to do what Laurie does, puts it on her calendar, and let them know that they can count on you to actually follow up and do what you say. It's key. It's key, Laurie.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that's it. You build your reputation, and that can take so many years or whatever, and it can falter in an instant from just simply even forgetting to put something on your calendar, which everybody makes mistakes, and that's okay, right? And you need to forgive people for mistakes or whatever too. But, that's huge, especially in business, of being on time and being consistent and being, where you say that you're going to be when you say you're going to be there.
And Laurie, that being said, I'd like to take a minute to say, has this ever happened to you where you're supposed to meet someone and that something just keeps coming up? And I take that as a message where there's something that keeps coming up and preventing me from executing that appointment, from getting together with that person. And I will say to them, I believe something else is supposed to happen. This might be the first or the second time that something came up. This happened to me recently. I'll tell it in 1 minute. Something came up and I couldn't get together with this woman. And I said, this just came up. I have the option to take that, to meet you and reschedule. How does that make you feel? Are you okay with that? And she said to me, this must be really important to you because you're asking me. So by all means, we can reschedule. And I thought that was amazing. And I left it up to her to say how she feels, how she felt, and how she feels. And it happened again. So the second time that I was supposed to get with her, something else happened. And I thought, oh my gosh. And my message to her is, something else is supposed to happen. It's just not supposed to be this coffee date. That's obviously too small. We should think bigger. So sometimes the follow-up and the calendar reminders, as good as they are, we have to use our gut instinct with what we're supposed to be doing with people, because what we have planned may not really be the plan that we need to have with them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And because that's it. You need to be flexible too, right? Because sometimes things can come up, whether it's something that you can ask or something that you can't ask because it's unavoidable, and so you always want to be flexible. You want to be forgiving, but you always want to be on your end to try to be there for everything, that you possibly can, whatever you said you were going to do. But yes, then also because doors can open and sometimes those doors you need to walk through them because it might be very advantageous to you to do that, right?
Absolutely. So Laurie, when you're consistent in your calendar reminders and I'm consistent in my follow-up, and I know we can go on about all the things we're consistent in, it's embedded in me. I know the process. I don't have to guess at what am I going to do next. Gee, what should I do? I know it's without even thinking. So if you're watching this training for the first time, if you haven't watched any of the other trainings, go back and check out some of the previous ones. But if you're starting right now with your business, whether it's your personal business, your somebody else's business, and you're helping them with it, or you're in the business with Laurie and I in one of our businesses with Send Out Cards, definitely make a commitment to yourself to be consistent. And then others will know that you're consistent too, and they can count on you. That's my message for tonight, Laurie. I'll pass the meeting over to you, and I'll have you end on the note that you choose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll just touch really quickly on, like you said, there's so many other areas, like health. My 24-year-old son is a power bodybuilder and power lifter. And if he's not consistent in his workouts, it will show in his performance, right? And so the same thing, that's us in our health. We have to be consistent with things, because just, eating fast food all the time and then one healthy meal, that's not consistent, and we're not going to get the results we want, and so the same thing with your in your business, you need consistency of doing administrative tasks and doing tasks that are going to make you money, like money making tasks, and paperwork tasks and phone call tasks, all those things. You need to be consistent in all those areas, and of course, a little bit of time in each one. But that's where you're going to get to where you want to have your goals at, right?
Absolutely. We can definitely talk more about this. If you have any questions about how you can be consistent using your calendar with follow-up, or how you can put a system together, just give us a shout, give us a call. You can message us, and we'll be happy to get on a Zoom call or hang out with you. And we'll go over in some more detail, some of the best kept secrets of how we've been conducting. And we run multiple businesses, Laurie and I. It's okay if you have one business, but we're running multiple businesses simultaneously. And you certainly need to be consistent. Otherwise, I have no idea how people would get from one point to the next, or how we would. So I thank you so much for participating with me tonight, Laurie, in my venture and my adventure and our journey together. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning into our Gratitude Girls training. There's lots more to come, so keep your eye out.
Awesome. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.